As I said, we've seen generosity on a scale that is unprecedented in Nevada history. We know that we will never, ever forget this horrific event. But we will march forward as a family, giving each other comfort, support, and love. The future is going to come one day at a time. We all have a choice how we're going to live each day. We must be glad, we must be good, we must be brave, and we must have faith. And we will emerge as a stronger, kinder, better state and nation. So God bless the victims and their families. May they give them peace. God bless our great state, and God bless our nation, the greatest nation on earth. And with that, I'm very privileged and honored to introduce the First Lady and the President of the United States. I personally want to thank them on behalf of all the people of Nevada for taking the time to come out here and provide us their support and their comfort and everything else that they're going to bring to us. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce the President of our great nation, Donald Trump. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Governor, and we really appreciate that. And I will tell you, the people of Nevada and the extraordinary city have shown the world their incredible character, courage, and resolve. Nevada really is a very, very special place. I'm honored to be here today at the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department in the company of heroes. Thank you to our police, our firefighters, and to our first responders, and of course to Sheriff Lombardo. Incredible job you've done. Mayor Goodman. Hello, Mayor Goodman.
I couldn't be blocked by anything
No,
more
you
beautiful
cannot.
in the world.
Senator Heller. Thank you very much. Senator Cortez Masto. Majority Leader. Where is Kevin? Majority Leader. Kevin McCarthy. Adam Laxalt. All of the great congressmen that we have with us today from both parties. We just are very honored that you could be with us. And on behalf of the grateful nation, Melania and I thank each and every one of you in law enforcement. In the depths of horror, we will always find hope in the men and women who risk their lives for ours. The mass murder that took place on Sunday night fills America's heart with grief. America is truly a nation in mourning. I visited the hospital earlier today, where many victims are still recovering from their wounds, and we ask God to ease their suffering and to speed their healing. We pray for the recovery of the injured and those injured officers who so bravely threw themselves into danger when duty called. And we grieve the loss of the law enforcement personnel who were killed in this vicious attack. Many families tonight will go to bed in a world that is suddenly empty. The people they so dearly love were torn away from them forever. Our souls are stricken with grief for every American who lost a husband or a wife, a mother or a father, a son or a daughter. We know that your sorrow feels endless. We stand together to help you carry your pain. You're not alone. We will never leave your side. Here at the police department, we remember one of our own who died this week, Charles Hartfeld. He was a very, very special person. Officer Hartfeld was a proud veteran, a devoted husband, a loving father. His death is a tragic loss for this police force, for the city, and for our great nation. We struggle for the words to explain to our children how such evil can exist, how there can be such cruelty and such suffering. But we cannot be defined by the evil that threatens us or the violence that incites such terror. We're defined by our love, our caring, and our courage. In the darkest moments, what shines most brightly is the goodness that thrives in the hearts of our people. That goodness is our lighthouse, and our solace is knowledge that the souls of those who passed are now at peace in heaven. Here on earth, we are blessed to be surrounded by heroes. As one eyewitness recounted this week, while everyone else was crouching, police officers were standing up as targets, just trying to direct people and tell them where to go. The officers were standing up in the line of fire to help those in danger and to find out where those horrible shots were coming from. Words cannot describe the bravery that the whole world witnessed on Sunday night. Americans defied death and hatred with love and with courage. When the word and the worst of humanity strikes, and strike it did, the best of humanity responds. Parents and spouses use their own bodies as shields to protect their loved ones. Americans dashed into a hail of bullets to rescue total strangers. Joining us today are many of the heroes who were here during that horrible moment, that horrible night, including Las Vegas Metropolitan Police officers Tyler Peterson and Tanner Gurley, and civilian Aaron Stalker. Officer Peterson was on his second day on the job when the shooting began. I just visited him in the hospital. Within minutes, he joined a group of officers rushing between flying bullets to clear the fairground and save lives. Officer Gurley was off duty attending the concert. Although she was unarmed, as soon as the shooting began, she threw on a yellow police vest and began evacuating victims. And Aaron Stalker, a veteran, rushed to the scene to search for his loved ones, but when he couldn't find them, he began helping every person he could. As he recounts, we used the plastic barriers as gurneys to carry the injured to transportation. I made splints out of whatever I could find and used anything to stop the horrible bleeding. Among the wounded was the mother of Aaron's girlfriend. She is still in the hospital, and we are all pulling for her. To every hero we helped, every hero saved so many lives. And believe me, a grateful nation thanks you. The example of those whose final act was to sacrifice themselves for those they loved should inspire all of us to show more love every day for the people who grace our lives. In the months ahead, we will all have to wrestle with the horror of what has unfolded this week. But we will struggle through it together. We will endure the pain together, and we will overcome together as Americans. May God bless and watch over those who protect us. May God bring healing to the families of the wounded, the injured, and the fallen. And may God bless our great country, America. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Governor. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Praise from the President for the first responders, Las Vegas police, firefighters, other emergency responders. Says he's in the company of heroes today. The President also offering consolation to the victims and their families, says all of America is in mourning. The president has now been called upon to provide consolation, to be on the ground in the wake of natural disasters, in the wake of this horrible shooting. And Cecilia Vega, one of the things we saw there, a little bit different from Puerto Rico yesterday, the president sticking to that script, somber words.
Yeah, and what a month it has been for this president, George, as you mentioned, coming here directly from Puerto Rico, after Texas, after Florida. And this is a very different tone that we are hearing from this president today. He says that we are a nation in mourning. This is the job of presidents. This is the consoler-in-chief, the comforter-in-chief, if you will. He says that it is in the goodness in people that is our lighthouse. So trying to inspire some hope here. And when the president and the first lady leave here in Las Vegas within the next few minutes, they will go on Air Force One and head back to the White House, George, where now the next step for this president will be to have to take on this issue of gun control. And in the last few days, this is not an issue that this White House has been willing to talk about. They say it's premature to politicize this issue while this investigation is still going on right here behind me in Las Vegas. But this is not something that he's going to be able to avoid. We saw protests by Democrats on Capitol Hill. And if the talking points that ABC News has seen that this White House is floating around right now is any indication of which way this administration might go, they say new laws won't stop madmen. So perhaps that's a sign of things to come. But certainly, this is a debate that wages on, and now it sits directly in the lap of this president, George. A description of the gunman echoed by the president, calling him sick and demented. Matt Gutman, also in Las Vegas, has been there from the very start of all this early Monday morning. Matt, the president didn't say anything about the gunman in that setting right there. Right now, we have learned, though, in the last 24 hours, much more about his final 48 hours in that hotel and the meticulous planning that went into this massacre.
That's right, George. We know that in addition to the 23 firearms, the thousands of rounds of ammunition, he had set up at least 2 surveillance cameras. He may have had some sort of tablet device from which he was able to monitor. And the point of those surveillance cameras was to monitor the approach of law enforcement. And clearly he saw 9 minutes into the shooting, thereabouts, when a security guard from the hotel approached the door. He shot him through the door. But that was key. Officials here are heralding that security guard is a hero, basically alerting them, telling them where the shooter was, and shortly thereafter the shooting stopped. So he is really being credited with stopping this. Now, we've also learned about his movements within the hotel. Sources telling us that he actually had gambled the night before the shooting, spending 8 hours playing high-stakes poker. Maybe not unusual for a gambler who's there for a weekend, but certainly unusual for someone who's about to perpetrate such a heinous act, George.
That is an understatement, Matt Gutman. Thanks very much. Brian Ross, our chief investigative correspondent. We know a lot more now about how this was carried out. Still nothing on why.
The why is still a mystery, George. Agents are stumped. They really hope that the interview that's going on right at this moment in Los Angeles with his one-time girlfriend will provide the clues they need.
Brian Ross, thanks very much. I know all of you will be joining David Muir in Las Vegas tonight for World News Tonight. And all of you at home can get the latest breaking news alerts anytime by downloading the ABC News app. I'll see you tomorrow on GMA.
This has been a special report from ABC News.
Glad has Febreze to neutralize odors for 5 days, guaranteed. Even the most perceptive noses won't notice the trash. Be happy, it's Glad.
Come on, you old El Paso taco boats. Use those flat bottoms, onions, tomatoes. Don't forget the cheese. Let's go, ladies. Those shells aren't going to lift themselves.
Woo! I feel like a new taco.
Anything goes in old El Paso.
Tonight, what's this speechless family really like?
I love those questions because they show how little you know.
Well, they're hilarious, outrageous, and endearing.
Someone letting a possum into the house.
I let a raccoon in the house. The possum was his loser friend.
New Speechless tonight on ABC.
This is my world. Mine.
You cannot have it all.
Watch me.
Can I offer you a drink?
No, thank you. Not from you. Lulu filled me in about how you bought Ava's silence with some kind of a promise of a miracle restoration.
Well, I don't know about that, but I did give her